Well, thank you very much for having me along. I'm Janet Miles and I'm the Managing Director of Gairloch and Loch Action Forum, which is known really as GALE locally, and it's much less of a mouthful. We're a development trust and we serve the communities of Gairloch and Loch, which is really the middle part of Wester Ross. And like every development trust across the country, of which there are about 300 now, our remit is to make our area a better place to live and work. And we do this through a range of community-led and owned projects. We've touched on a lot of the issues that we look at through the various presentations we've had so far, but the issues we focus on are trying to strengthen our economy through sustainable economic development. And we do that, we're quite keen on community wealth building at the minute. Try to create more services in our community, local. Again, that resonates with the 20-minute neighbourhood. And we're also trying to tackle seasonality. We're a tourist area and have a hugely seasonal economy. Services are seasonal and jobs are seasonal, so we're trying to work on that, as well as looking at social inclusion, trying to involve more people who are disadvantaged and vulnerable in our community. We do this across the whole of the Gairloch and Loch area, which in itself is by no means a 20-minute neighbourhood, I'm afraid. It's an hour and a half's drive from one side of our patch to the next, so it's quite a big area. But within that, we've got lots of smaller communities. Back in the late 90s, we started out as an organisation. One of our very first projects was to create some affordable housing in Vrasdale, which is a fairly rural part of our patch. And we built 4 houses near to the primary school. We're all within a walking distance. So that was the beginnings of a 20-minute neighbourhood, I would say. And fun fact.
Janet, can I?
Sorry?
Are you actually showing a slideshow at the moment?
I'm just about to, but
right.
Can you
so
see?
Still got the front cover.
Yeah, I'm just about.
Oh, that's fine. I just wondered if there was a technical issue. Sorry to interrupt.
I'll try and wind up my introduction quicker.
No, that's fine. I'm not rushing you. I just wondered if we're missing something, but that's fine. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just going to finish off that little section by saying a fun fact was that we got to know the Highland Small Communities Housing Trust back in the late 90s when they first started out, really, and we were their very first community member. So I thought that was a nice fact to put in. So I'm going to start looking, just zooming in on Gairloch really. So this is my first slide, Audrey. And our folks, so we do cover a big area, but this project is focusing on Gairloch, which is quite a scattered community. It's based around the Loch, and I've put a wee map up in the top corner there. And we've got the start. Can you see my mouse as well? If I'm pointing.
Yes.
Yeah. So this area of Gairloch is called Strath, and it has these kind of shops, like a main sort of street. And then we've got another area down this end called, which is the harbour, and it's got a lot of sort of shop services, tourist services really. And then the central part of Gairloch was always quite removed from the other. It didn't really connect. It has the school and the medical centre and sort of public sector kind of facilities. Quite a lot of the site was, that area was sort of empty, or there was a big derelict site. So the community was kind of disconnected, and this is part of Achtercairn, which is the site that we ended up building on with the Community Housing Trust. And Ronnie shared some lovely pictures of what it looks like today. I just have this really old photograph, which at the time I didn't realise how relevant it would be. I wished I'd got a better photograph, but anyway, a hotel burnt down on this site in 1999, and it really is a derelict bit of the village. Our vision was to create more of a physical centre to the village here, to create a social and economic heart for the village, using this site. And the road in front that you see, we used to think that was called the A832. Nowadays, that is called the North Coast 500, but at the time we had not heard of that. So the idea was to create affordable housing and a mixed housing tenure really in the back of the site, and then at the front some community and retail use. And in effect, we really created two 20-minute neighbourhoods, because 10 minutes in one direction walk, you get to the harbour and the services there, and 10 minutes in the other direction, you get up to Strath and the shops and cafes of the village there, as well as the school and medical centre. So today, this is what the site looks like. I've been very biased and I'm focusing on the GALE Centre because that is what we've, that's our part of the site, but you can see a glimpse of the houses around the back there that the Housing Trust organised. It took us a very long time to make this happen. It was 9 years in the planning, and the Housing Trust were very, very patient with us. They land banked a lot of the ground around and waited for us to be able to put our plans together as a community. When you see the building, we've taken into account environmental issues when we built it. We're very keen that it was a low impact building. It's a certified passive house, which means that it's super insulated, it's airtight sealed, and it's got passive energy, so we get heat from the sun through those windows at the front. We've got a living roof on the top there to try and infiltrate rainwater and also absorb carbon dioxide. The building itself is made out of untreated timbers, and these lovely posts that you see, the vertical posts going up the building, they carry on throughout the building, and they are made of Douglas fir, which is grown in Scotland, and the cladding is all Scottish grown larch as well. So we've got quite good environmental credentials just in the building of the centre. Inside, we use it for lots of different purposes. We've got our community cafe. We have local people provide cakes for the cafe. We've got 20 bakers at the minute. They bake cakes at home and we sell them for them in the cafe. We have bakers aged 8 to 80 at the minute, and they use the money for pocket money, augmenting pensions, and some people use it to pay the bills and keep their heads above water, really. Each year we pay out roughly £25,000 to bakers for their cakes, so it's a reasonable contribution to our local economy. We also provide employment, but also volunteering opportunities, and we provide activities for people who are disadvantaged in our community. Maybe they've got disability, and we provide this supported volunteering activities. We also run community get-togethers, like social meals, like this one that you see in the picture in the middle there. And one of our things is that we are always open, so we're really trying to tackle seasonality. And if you exclude the awful COVID year, 18 months, we have been open pretty much every day since the centre was built. We have our 365-day policy. We try to open every single day of the year, and we do provide, if we can, a Christmas meal as well for people who are maybe on their own in the community. We also have a retail space in the centre, which we provide space for people to exhibit their art and craft work, and we also have a permanent exhibition space. Within the centre, we have roughly 50 artists, craft workers, producers who sell their products. So it might be books, maps and guides of the local area that have been made and produced and written locally, jams and preserves, or artwork, or this knitwear that you see in the picture. So it's quite a range of stuff, but we've got 40 of those sort of local people, and we generate about £50,000 worth of income for them through the sale of their products in a sort of average year. We also run a tourist information centre from the building. It's a year-round service. We have a fully staffed information service providing free information and advice to visitors, trying to help them get the best out of their stay in our area, encouraging them to slow down a bit and stay longer, maybe visit some of the places off that main road and then NC 500 and go off the beaten track a little bit more, and really try and maximise the community benefit of tourism to our area. We serve about 35,000 visitors a year through this centre, so it's quite busy, and it's fairly seasonal still. Then outside, we grow our own produce where we can to sell in the cafe, to salads and vegetables and herbs. We also have edible flowers and cut flowers for the tables. We use the outdoor space to provide volunteering opportunities and teach people about outdoor learning activities and skills. We also try to minimise our waste by composting virtually everything that we can, from kitchen produce, vegetable peelings, things like that, coffee grounds, and paper and cardboard. We do quite like messing around in the compost heap, as you can see there in that top picture. But it really does help reduce our waste. We also use the compost to mulch the beds. It keeps the slugs and snails away. We produce an awful lot of coffee grounds, and these are really, really useful in the garden. And I'm very, very proud of myself this year. I grew some mushrooms in the coffee grounds, which we're going to try and increase our production for future years. But those are spent coffee grounds and oyster mushrooms growing in them, which not quite enough to make a bowl of soup yet, but it's a work in progress. So after 10 years of establishing the Gale Centre and getting it up and running, I believe that we have achieved the social and economic hub that we really dreamed of right at the start that was our vision for the place. And the centre supports 20 year-round jobs. We've got 30 volunteer placements, including those with disadvantages. We generate a roughly £250,000 a year, which 75% of that is then spent directly back into the local Gairloch and Loch community. We're very keen on the community wealth building, as I mentioned before, and about 5% of our population receive a direct payment from Gale every year, whether that's from supplying product to the shop or services, or through direct employment. And I haven't been paid to say this, but I would definitely say it would not have been possible without the Housing Trust. The fact that they were able to land bank and keep that land for us while we got our act together as a community, it made all the difference. And yeah, finally, just like to welcome everybody to come and visit us in Gairloch, because the pictures don't really do it justice. Thank you.